Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the interim provost and vice chancellor of the University of Kansas, Mr. Carl Lejwe. Got it right this time.
Before I begin, I would just like to ask for another round of applause. What our students of all of our universities have done here to bring a community together while having other lives, working, being a student, family responsibilities. This is absolutely amazing what's been accomplished. I'd also like to just say a word about some of our esteemed guests today. Lawrence Mayor Lisa Larson, Vice Mayor Jennifer Ananda, Lawrence Chief of Police Gregory Burns, and many of our administrators, deans, and department chairs, so many people who have had such a big impact on the students here today. I'd also like to, sorry, I walked all over my own applause line. I'd also like to come back to this point that we are representing several universities here today. The University of Kansas, the University of Missouri, Kansas City, Avila University, Washburn University, and Emporia State University. And I'd like to give all of those universities a hand today. In my role, both as interim provost, but also the 2 years I spent as dean of the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences here at KU, I have really thought deeply and hard about how we make real change and put real effort into diversity, equity, and inclusion on our campus. And what we have here today is such a great example of the way in which we say that we want to be an inclusive, welcoming campus. Now, I will say it should be the labor of our administrators, our staff, our faculty who are providing that environment for students. And we have a ways to go with that. This is an area where I think we've had some successes, but particularly in a difficult time in our society right now, we also are constantly aware of ways in which we can do better. And sometimes it's our students who show us that. And what we've seen here today is a way in which our students have taken the baton and have created a space where we are able to recognize the importance of Saudi students here at KU and our other universities, but also the importance of culture and the importance of recognizing what it means to be at university, but also remember your own heritage and your own culture. And I'd like to tell a story. Now, if you know me, you look at me and say, well, you must have been a runner at some point in your life because you have such a runner's body, a long, lean, sorry, that's my joke for today. But I ran cross-country track when I was in high school. And our course, the last quarter mile, was a big, round hill. And it was miserable. When we would practice on this hill, it was some of the most difficult memories I remember. And one day I said to our coach, I said, why is this our course? Why are you doing this to us? And he said, Carl, if this is hard for you and you practice here every day, imagine how hard it's going to be for the other teams who don't have this practice with adversity. And I remember the first race. And I remember how many other runners from the other teams our team would pass on that last quarter mile because we saw the adversity, we faced it every day, and we got better at it. And I think sometimes, particularly for students who are so successful throughout their lives, as many of you are here, we sometimes send a message that the goal in life is to always succeed. It's to avoid failure. And quite frankly, what that experience taught me, and particularly as I've gone on to other things in my life, it's almost never avoiding failure. It's the willingness to go through that failure and to put yourself into other opportunities for adversity and to get better at it and to practice at it. And what I really appreciate about our university and the other universities here today are the opportunities that you have to challenge yourself, to put yourself into that adversity. One of my favorite favorite sculptors is Rodin. And I remember the first time I saw the Burghers of Calais. This is a set of sculpture where you have these 6 individuals who were townspeople in a French port town who were willing to give up their lives to save their city. And what's so interesting about this, there's generally 3 rules of sculpture. One is that you always transcend things into one individual, you always tell a story of success, and you always elevate the sculpture. Rodin broke all 3 of these rules. It was at regular eye level, it was 6 individuals, and what it did was it looked at how each of these individuals experienced that moment where they knew their ultimate sacrifice would lead to their death. And what was so inspiring to me about this is how each individual coped with it differently. There's one who, Jean Adair, who looked very stern and would not crack in any way. Pierre Vissant, who had this almost philosophical, existential way of handling what happened. There's actually one guy who looks, imagine like you're a defender in the World Cup and you just kick the ball into your own goal. That's what he looks like. He's basically got his hand over his head and he looks pretty miserable. And so this is a case where you have everyone responding differently to this adversity, but all being willing to follow through on taking this ultimate sacrifice. And I remember when I saw this, it was another time for me to think about that importance of challenging myself and pushing myself. And we can see this in the event that's been put together today. It would have been enough to continue to put on a really great graduation just at KU. But our students here have always pushed themselves, and this organization, in terms of the success that they've had this year, being a group that's been nominated for the Best Student Club Award at KU, this is a group that's teamed up with other Saudi students to really take risks. And I want to thank them for that, and I want that to be another reminder for myself of always putting yourself into those situations where you're not sure you're going to succeed. And out of it, you'll get stronger, and out of it, you'll be even more prepared to handle the adversity that we all need to face to be successful and to make society a better place. So thank you for being here today. Congratulations to everyone, and thanks particularly to all of the students who have made today possible.